Xiaomi isn't very old. They were founded in 2010, but in just 15 short years, they went from making budget smartphones to making seemingly everything. Enough stuff to pretty much have an entire department store dedicated to just themselves. They started by making phones and TVs, but now they make rice cookers, air purifiers, scooters, suitcases, and of course, even ballpoint pens. The phrase, "don't put all your eggs in one basket," comes to mind. They probably have that motto on every employee's desktop background, it seems, because it looks like Xiaomi's management took that saying a little bit too literally and decided to sell the baskets, the eggs, and the entire farm as well. So, how does a company once likened to being the Apple of China end up as the IKEA of electronics? Well, let's see what this funny business is all about. For a company primarily known for budget smartphones, Xiaomi's product range is now insane. Lots of tech companies have diversified product lines, right? But Xiaomi takes this to a whole nother level. Instead of making just consumer electronics, they seem to be making consumer everything. See, besides TVs, phones, and all of that good stuff, Xiaomi's lineup now includes goods across nearly every niche of modern life. So to give you a bit of an idea, here's a non-exhaustive whistle-stop tour of actual Xiaomi products. Starting with smart home devices, Xiaomi makes robot vacuum cleaners, smart light bulbs, security cameras, smart doorbells, all usual suspects that you'd see from a tech company, nothing too strange here. Then let's move to personal transport. Electric scooters, electric bikes, and yes, now of course, electric cars. Okay, we're getting a little bit more rogue here. But then let's move to health and wearables. Xiaomi makes fitness bands, smartwatches, Bluetooth earphones, and health devices like smart scales. Still, this seems okay. Nothing too crazy. Let's move on to appliances and homeware. Xiaomi makes air purifiers, water purifiers, rice cookers, and look at this, they sell a smart washing machine too. So your entire kitchen and utility room could be outfitted with Xiaomi products. Getting a little bit more diversified than usual here. Then let's move on to the lifestyle stuff. This is the fun part. Xiaomi's ecosystem companies produce pillows, mattresses, shoes, suitcases, and of course, the trusty ballpoint pen. So these are more well-designed, affordable, everyday items. So the same company that made your phone can also sell you a ballpoint pen or a set of bed sheets. Talk about diversification. Now we're starting to stray away from most other conglomerates. But we're not stopping there. Xiaomi makes electric screwdrivers, desk lamps, drones, VR headsets, 3D printers, and water guns. Xiaomi even has a pet product line. Xiaomi fish tank? Anybody? Xiaomi's product catalogue is so big that it's probably easier to list what they don't make. So far, they haven't announced a Xiaomi-branded kitchen sink, but give it time, as the entire kitchen sink seems to be their product strategy. To be fair, I'm actually looking for a instant boiling water kitchen tap that doesn't cost £1,000. I checked and unfortunately Xiaomi doesn't make one. But they do make an instant hot water dispenser, which is the next best thing, because of course they do. Honestly, here's some free consulting, Xiaomi. Your in-person stores should be just a house layout, and all of your products just need to be placed in all of the appropriate places, in all of the necessary rooms, and a customer just walks around, scans QR codes, or takes notes of every Xiaomi product in the house that they want to buy, and then they just go to the front and collect those items in one go. A bit like IKEA, hey? So, Xiaomi's become a bit of a one-stop shop. From your phone, to your vacuum cleaner, to the pen on your desk, to your car. Xiaomi has a hand in all of this. But this entire empire of tech isn't actually an accident. In a way, it can actually be argued that they need to do this due to a very quirky but intentful part of their business strategy. So let's get into it. How and why does Xiaomi make everything? So behind Xiaomi's Make Everything approach is what's called an ecosystem-centric business model. See, Xiaomi isn't literally manufacturing all of this stuff themselves in one giant gigafactory somewhere in China. Instead, what they've done is they've built a network of partner firms and subsidiaries. And ecosystem of companies. And this is called the Xiaomi ecological chain. And this is to broaden their product range in a very short period of time. In 2013, CEO of Xiaomi, Lei Jun, announced that Xiaomi would invest in 100 startups in 5 years to expand into new hardware fields. Pretty ambitious task, right? But by 2016, they had already invested in 55 such companies, making everything from power banks to purifiers. Think of Xiaomi like the hub at the center of a wheel, with lots of spokes, which are the partner companies, each focused on a different product category. So here's how it works. Xiaomi provides the funding, the guidance on the design, the quality control, and the Mi branding license, while the smaller companies do the innovating and actually, in many cases, manufacture the products. Now, many of the more left-field Xiaomi branded items, like the toothbrushes and the suitcases, are actually made by these Xiaomi ecological chain companies. And successfully, Xiaomi now has over 100 of these ecosystem partners, covering well over 15 product categories, all the way from smart home devices to even food and drinks on their Youpin e-commerce platform. Also, if you've ever heard of Robo-Rock vacuum cleaners, yep, that's a Xiaomi ecological chain brand. Same with Dream. Hoto electric screwdrivers, yep, that's a Xiaomi ecological chain brand too. So by partnering with other firms, Xiaomi can launch products in new categories really fast without having to start each of these projects from scratch. But here's the lifeblood of all of this. Now, Xiaomi lends its brand and distribution to all of these products, but they also make sure that they all integrate with each other as one big, cohesive ecosystem on one singular app, called the Mi Home app. So by doing all of this, Xiaomi can genuinely claim to offer everything and maintain a certain level of quality, design, consistency, and an integrated software experience, where applicable, across everything that has their name on it. So why is Xiaomi doing this? Well, there's two big reasons. The first is deliberately razor-thin margins, and the second is a general pursuit of an ecosystem lock-in. See, making every type of electronic gadget is somewhat necessary for how they make money. Okay, get this. Xiaomi has famously pledged to cap its profit margin on all of its hardware products to a maximum of 5% forever. Yeah, they said, we're not going to make more than 5% of a profit margin from selling you a phone, a scooter, a fridge, whatever. Still waiting for that kitchen tap, Xiaomi. Most of the hardware and device companies, by contrast, survive on hardware profits, right? But Xiaomi sells devices almost at cost, or as they put it, an honest price, aiming to make tech as affordable as possible while maintaining a semblance of quality. Now, for us consumers, this is great news. It means you usually get amazing bang for your buck with Xiaomi products. But how does Xiaomi survive, and indeed thrive, with such tiny per unit profits? Well, the answer is services and scale. So CEO Lei Jun has described Xiaomi as an internet services company at its core. The real money is made after you buy the device. Now, Xiaomi's business model relies on you buying maybe a $300 phone and then spending money on various digital services and add-ons as well. Now, these can be features within the Mi Home app, since all of their tech products are integrated on there anyway, as well as things like online content, cloud storage, themes for your phone, fintech services, and even e-commerce purchases on their aforementioned platform. In China, MIUI, which is Xiaomi's Android-based operating system, comes loaded with Xiaomi's online services and ads as well, providing Xiaomi with recurring revenue. So every new device sold is another gateway to further potential sales within their ecosystem, both in terms of other physical products and in software and ads. And so if their strategy is to sell more and more devices to people, that means they need to expand into more and more device categories, hence the push to basically make everything. If you already bought the Xiaomi phone, perhaps you'll then want to buy the Xiaomi smartwatch, the Xiaomi TV, and then you want to connect all of this all through the Mi Home app. Now, each product here might have a slim profit individually, but collectively, if you're now a loyal Xiaomi customer, likely to give Xiaomi another 5% profit on the next thing that you're going to buy that they make, or if you subscribe to Xiaomi Cloud Storage or a Xiaomi streaming service. That is how they make money. The next thing then is, of course, economies of scale. Now, Xiaomi's low prices work because they sell in massive volumes. If you price a fitness band or a security camera so cheap that millions of people choose to buy it, you can still fund all of your R&D and make profit on future sales. Now, Xiaomi has become a master at this high-volume, low-margin game. So Xiaomi's We Make Everything approach is a great case study of modern techonomics. More and more hardware companies have started to figure out that they want to build ecosystems rather than just sell one-off devices. So the classic example is Apple. They'll sell you an iPhone, but also an Apple Watch, AirPods, HomePod, and services like iCloud and Apple TV, all working together very cohesively. Now, Xiaomi has the same playbook, but targeting a much more price-sensitive market and, of course, has a much broader product scope. They want to be the one-stop tech provider for the mass market, especially in China and in developing markets like India and other parts of Southeast Asia. Smartphones, smart homes, smart lifestyle gadgets, smart everything, and also dumb everything, all under one brand umbrella, offering convenience, quality, integration, and value. I promise this video is not sponsored by Xiaomi. By offering such a wide array of products, Xiaomi also strengthens its customer loyalty and its brand recognition even further. In Xiaomi's ideal world, a customer could refurnish their entire house and general tech life with just Xiaomi products. Once you start buying Xiaomi, you might never need or want to leave their ecosystem because everything just clicks together via the Mi Home app and Mi Cloud so effectively. So basically, instead of picking a niche, Xiaomi's niche was picking no niche. Try saying that 10 times out loud. And they've created this brand perception that everything that they make is of very good quality and of great value. And therefore, they have become the first place that you think of and look for if you need any device or home item, because you know it will be of very good quality and of great value. The other day, for example, I needed to buy a laser measuring device, and lo and behold, Xiaomi makes one that was very well reviewed and was a really good price. Still waiting for that kitchen tap though, Xiaomi. This is how Xiaomi became the IKEA of tech, and they've really boosted the perception of the quality that you can get from Chinese brands, along with the likes of companies like Anker and DJI. You know what you're going to get, and it's not going to break the bank. Now, of course, I've got to mention their car as well. In 2024, Xiaomi launched its first electric vehicle, the Xiaomi SU7, which carried the same ethos of being very competitive and a really good value. I personally think it looks brilliant, though it's pretty clear where they got their design inspiration from, and it costs just over $30,000. Now, of course, many of you watching will not be paying that price, as quite expectedly due to just how competitive and potentially subsidized by a Chinese government that it is. It's import tariffed out of the arse in continental Europe, and it isn't even being sold in the UK or in North America right now. Even still, though, they've sold over 200,000 cars to date. This thing's not even a year old, mind, according to some sources, which is insane given that this was not previously a car company. It goes to show just how strong the Xiaomi brand is. There's actually a term for Xiaomi fans called Mi Fans. And funnily enough, Xiaomi hosts fan events like the annual Mi Fan Festival, held every April on Xiaomi's founding anniversary, which is kind of like a Black Friday festival mixed in with a birthday bash. And fun fact, Mi Fan sounds like Mi Fen, which is a rice noodle dish. So basically, Xiaomi fans are all rice noodles, which is appropriate given how intertangled their product range is. Now, all of this diversification does present a challenge. Managing quality control across hundreds of product types is quite hard. Surprise, surprise. Xiaomi has faced a few stumbles and does carry the risk that one of its products doesn't meet quality standards, and this could hurt the brand. Also, this has unfortunately become a reality now after a fatal crash involving one of its Xiaomi SU7 cars caused the company to need to take a little bit of a step back. In terms of most of their other product lines, though, Xiaomi has navigated this quality assurance challenge by really vetting its ecosystem partners before it gives the go-ahead for them to start creating Mi and MIUI branded products. So, Xiaomi makes everything because it wants to be the first company that pops into your mind when you need anything. And that needs to be the case because of their deliberately capped profit margins. What looks like a random grab bag of products is actually a coherent and very ambitious strategy to build a tech empire spanning pretty much every facet of modern life. So by diversifying into so many product categories, Xiaomi uses its low-margin, high-volume model to great effect, selling affordable devices to as many people as possible, and then earning loyalty and revenue through services and purchases of even more Xiaomi and Mi branded products in their lives. So Xiaomi basically wants to be the connective tissue of your home, your personal tech, and now even your transport. And its success in this shows that being the Apple of China wasn't actually its final form, but being the IKEA of electronics was. So next time that you find out that Xiaomi launched yet another random product, whether it's a sofa or finally that boiling water kitchen tap, you won't need to ask why, because Xiaomi's answer will be, if it's something else for you to buy, why not? Thank you everybody for joining me on this look at Xiaomi's wild product range. If you couldn't already tell, I really enjoyed making this video. These pens, by the way, are actually brilliant. Even more evidence to the points that I made earlier in this video. There's honestly so much more that I could have talked about in this video, but I had to just cut bits out to make sure that it wasn't like, an hour long. One example being their fully autonomous 24-hour AI-powered factory that makes their phones. Mental, right? There's also their crowdfunding platform to test new product ideas. It's stuff like that. Now, if you do want to hear more about that from me, then do let me know in the comments section below. For now, though, get subscribed to Funny Business for more content and click over here to watch this video that I think you'll really enjoy.